We now move on to question number 4b. This particular question, well, it's related to final accounts, but this problem in particular is more focused on making us understand the concept of fixed assets, current assets and current liabilities. In this problem, they have given us the opening balance sheet as on 1st April 2024. And when you go through the adjustments or the additional information, they have already computed the profit for the year ended 31st March 25. And they say that the profit is 8,37,500 after allowing for the following. See what it states. This profit 8,37,500, that is for the year ended 31st March 2025, is arrived at after allowing for the following. Allowing for what? Commission paid, discount received, purchase of vehicle, depreciation and provision for doubtful debts. And then they state that, but while preparing the profit and loss account, he had forgotten to provide for the prepaid expenses and the outstanding expenses. So we will have to adjust the given profit for these two. In addition to that, they tell us what is the current assets and current liabilities as on 31st of March. So they have given us the inventories, trade receivables, then cash at bank, and of course trade payables. And one more item that they mention here is that during the year he introduced further capital of 3,75,000. So now what are we required to prepare? They have given us the profit, but the profit is not correct because he has forgotten two adjustments. So we will have to rectify that, and therefore we will be preparing the profit and loss adjustment account and the balance sheet. Now, how do we proceed? We take up the balance sheet that is given on 1st April 24. Furniture and fixture is a fixed asset, so it will appear as it is 8,12,500. Vehicles is a fixed asset, therefore it will appear as it is 3,43,750. Then we are having trade receivables, cash at bank and inventories. But these are opening current assets. These will not be reflected in the balance sheet as on 31st of March 2025. We will have to see what these balances are as on that date. When we go to the liabilities, we find sundry creditors and expenses payable. Again, current liabilities given. But that's on 1st April 24. We are required to prepare balance sheet on 31st of March 25. So we'll take the current liabilities as they stand on 31st of March 25. Capital will come down as it is 27,50,000. Now, when we are solving this particular problem, as I said, it is testing your concept of fixed assets, current assets and current liabilities. So fixed assets, that is furniture and fixture, has come in as it is 8,12,500, vehicles 3,43,750. Capital, of course, it's proprietors' funds as it stands on 1st April 2024 is come. Any additions, we will have to see what the adjustment says. Now in the adjustments, they tell us that the profits were revealed was 8,37,500. So I have prepared the profit and loss adjustment account and I have brought down the profits as they are given to us at 8,37,500. Now what else? They said these adjustments were made. Commission paid to selling agent 81,250. So that is already reflected in the profit and loss. Discount received from creditors, that has already been reflected in the profit and loss because it's adjusted. Purchase of vehicle, this will get added to the vehicle account. So there is addition. But mind you, when is this vehicle added? On the 31st of March, the year end. Therefore, there will be no depreciation on this asset which is added at the year end. So my vehicles work out to 4,06,250. Then they have charged depreciation. This is already reflected in the profit and loss, but we have to prepare the balance sheet. So the depreciation that we will have to charge on furniture and fixture is 81,250. You will say second effect, but the effect is given. It's reflected in the profit and loss. So 81,250 is the depreciation. The net value of my furniture comes to 7,31,250. Same is with vehicles, is at 20%. But I will charge 20% on the opening balance. And I told you why we do not charge on the addition, because it is added up at the year end. So the depreciation works out to 68,750 and the net value of my vehicles works out to 3,37,500. Then they say a provision for doubtful debts is at 3%. This is already reflected in the profit and loss, but we will have to show it in the balance sheet. My trade receivables stand at 16,25,000. Now where did I get this figure from? From the additional information. So I will be charging provision at 3% on 16,25,000. That works out to 48,750. Net value of my trade receivables is 15,76,250. Then they tell us that while preparing the profit and loss, he had forgotten to provide for prepaid expenses. Now, if you have forgotten to provide for prepaid expenses, that means your expenses has been shown more. One effect will be in the balance sheet asset side 18,750, and second effect of this will be adjusted in my profit and loss adjustment account on the credit side for adjustment for prepaid expenses 18,750. Then they give us outstanding commission. This has also not been reflected in my profit and loss. So I will have to provide for the outstanding. So the outstanding commission works out to 43,750. Second effect, it's a liability, a current liability. So it will be reflected on the liability side of the balance sheet as 43,750. Then they have given us what are the current assets and current liabilities for the year. Current asset inventories 8,12,500. So that has to be reflected as on 31st of March 25. Trade receivables, as I had already mentioned earlier, 16,25,000. And the problem has specifically mentioned before provision for doubtful debts. That's why I have provided for that provision. Then cash at bank will work out at 6,87,500. Trade payables is a current liability, 1,82,500. And during the year, he introduced further capital of 3,75,000. So this will be added to the capital account, 3,75,000, which is the additional capital. Now what we do? We close the profit and loss adjustment account. We get the rectified profit at 8,12,500. This will be added to the capital, 8,12,000. So my capital stands at 39,37,500. And then I take the total of the balance sheet. My balance sheet tallies at 41,63,750.